So let's turn the clock back to 2019. Many filmmakers, me included, wanted to have a 4K full-frame camera without any crop, which performs up to 4K 60 FPS. Well, the Canon EOS R6 delivers all that with a very affordable price, but if the camera performs in every matter, we're gonna find out in this video. Coming up! Hi guys, my name is Paul, I'm a German filmmaker and this channel is all about filmmaking, gear reviews, but also DaVinci Resolve tutorials. So if that's something that you're interested in, please consider subscribe and support my channel. And yeah, if you like videos like that, please subscribe, leave a comment, you know how that game works. So in this video I gotta talk about the Canon EOS R6, and since I'm a filmmaker I won't talk about any photography aspects here of the camera, just filmmaking. So let's come to the biggest elephant in the room, and that's overheating. Yes, the Canon EOS R6 will overheat in you as long as you film in 4K. Doesn't matter if you use the APSC crop mode, which I will talk later on, or 4K 60 or 4K 24p. And which is very cool, kind of, is that it's very, let's say, you know when the camera will overheat, because the numbers that Canon provides are very true. That's also the same from my testing. But the recovery time of the EOS R6 is quite good, I think, because when you wait up to 10 minutes, you get 10 minutes back. So the number or the amount of minutes that you wait, you will get back on your clock. So I think that's very okay-ish, even though overheating is not okay, but I think that's better than what it was before. And if you're gonna choose to record on an external recorder, you won't have this problem at all. So let's come to handling. I think I really like the handling of the camera because the grip is a little bit bigger and the surface is a little more rugged, I would say, so it's a little bit more rough. So grip is well improved here, I would say, even though it wasn't bad on the R. But what is really better on the R is that we have here the classic mode dial, which allows you to switch between photo and video very fast, and we have also back the thumb joystick, and yeah, you can actually adjust your exposure within seconds because you have dials for everything. That is something that I really have missed on the EOS R, so very welcome that they have implemented that here on the EOS R6. What I don't like about the handling of the EOS R6, or let's say about the connections that it has, I think it's a micro HDMI, so really flimsy little connector. It offers you 2 SD cards, but they are pointless for a filmmaker because you can't do any backup recording or proxy recording, and especially the last one would be really helpful. And also from this date, because you have this customizable functions here, C1, C2 and C3, you can only configure them to any photo modes, not for video, which I hope Canon will fix that in a firmware update soon. So the Canon EOS R6 as well as the R5 are the first Canon cameras that have an in-body image stabilization known as IBIS. So the sensor inside is stabilized, and that, my friends, works really well. Especially for when you're doing like normal handheld shots, it's really great that you have that, and I'm gonna show you here everything that I did shot in 24p, but let's say if you even shoot in 60p, it will look like on a gimbal. So we're really great that they have implemented that. And also when you're shooting out of just like a handheld with like 70 millimeters or even higher, the stabilization works really great. It doesn't work so great when you try to walk with it. I think in that matter the Panasonic is better. Great rhyme. But in every other kind, the EOS R6 or the Canon is up to the stabilization of the Panasonic GH5 line, I would say. So let's come to autofocus, and Canon is well known that they have the best video autofocus in the industry, and the R6 is no exception to that. They have improved the tracking, so over the the Canon R6 is really great in tracking the subject, and it doesn't lose the subject when you turn around, which was the case on the EOS R. And also how smooth the camera Rex focus is really nice. And yeah, I even tested that with this lens here. It's a Tamron 24-70 EF lens, so even with third-party EF lenses it works really great. So yeah, autofocus shouldn't be an issue here, and as always Canon did a great job on that. So let's talk about low light, and that was something where the Canon EOS R6 really surprised me, because all the other full frame Canon cameras that I had were usable up to ISO 6400. Slightly above you can get away with noise reduction, but this camera is really great because you can use it up to ISO 25600, which is insane. And also even beyond that, we don't get any let's say color noise, so just normal noise. And yeah, let's say you have a loss in sharpness at ISO 25600, so if sharpness is your concern, then stay within ISO 12800 or something like that. But the sharpness is a little bit decreased on the higher ISO, like 25600, but from the noise itself it's still very usable up to that, and that's really surprising. And therefore I think the Canon EOS R6 is the best Canon lowlight camera that you can get. So let's talk about codecs and shooting modes, and the Canon uses an H.265 compression when shooting in 10-bit, so you cannot turn it off. When you film in a standard picture profile, you will record in H.264 4208-bit, so that codec is very manageable and great. But if you switch to C-Log, then it will automatically turn it into 10-bit 422 H.265. And as you might know, H.265 is highly compressed, very efficient in that matter, or saving space on your cards. But especially this one here is really hard to edit, and therefore I said I would really have to have proxy recording or something like that in camera, because the files are really hard to edit. And yeah, I don't know why that's an issue here with Canon, because I also tested the Zcam F6 that has H.265. That one worked great even in 4K up 1 to 120p, and also the DJI Mavic has that, and also that works fine. But on my 2019 maxed out iMac, I can't play back these files. I have to use proxies. The camera has a 4K, or it has a crop mode, which gives you an APS-C crop, which is really handy in situations where you can't get physically any closer to your subject. So let's talk about image quality. I've also tested rolling shutter, and it's pretty minimal on the R6, because on the 1DX Mark II, which I used before, it was pretty horrible. On the R6, it was on the R, it was also not great, but here, fortunately, it's really great. Also, the overall image quality of the EOS R6 is just outstanding. The 4K looks really sharp because it's downsampled from a 4.5K sensor, and also the full HD image looks great. And we have C-Log here internally, which gives you a nice dynamic range, but when they will feature C-Log free, it's gonna be even better. So yeah, I think the image quality is great also in full HD, and also when you film in 120p, autofocus works in all modes. So I think it's really great. You have a minor crop in 4K, it's like 1.05, so not even close to 1.1, so it's not even noticeable, but there's a slight crop. But I would say you can call it, it's 4K full frame. So you get all the Canon colors as you may expect it. So image quality on the EOS R6 is really great, I would say. So just in case if anybody is wondering how good or bad the sound on the R6 is, I'm recording on it right now. So let's come to the final conclusion. I think the camera is a really capable camera, and many of that what all filmmakers have wished for, with a very affordable price, I would say. The camera is not the right one for you if you're planning on recording long-term situations such as conferences, longer interviews and all the kinds of stuff. In this kind of scenarios, if you record internally, the camera will overheat on you. And also the other issue with the not editable, you know what I mean. The files are hard to play back and hard to edit on your computer. That's a downside, but for anything else, I think the camera really delivers everything what many filmmakers wanted to have, me included, and has a great autofocus, has sensor stabilization, and also prices really well. So yeah, if you can live with these two downsides that it has, I think the Canon EOS R6 won't let you down at all. So what are your thoughts on the camera? Please tell me in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and I'm gonna see you in my very next video. Cheers!